everyone. I'm Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories across the country. Now, two diehard Broncos fans have been there from the start through the highs, the lows, and the in-between. Shalima Marahaj explains how they came together to watch their favorite team play, and they left with an unbreakable bond for life.
We have many connections, but at the heart, we were long-suffering Bronco fans, and we have been rewarded over history.
The story of these two goes way back.
We didn't know we were each at the very first Bronco game in 1960, and we really got to know each other, many years later, and kind of found this common ground.
Longtime season ticket holders.
Mine for 42 years and his for 66.
Mark Pumphrey and Jim Strain are unwavering in their dedication to the orange and blue.
You could say, I love the Broncos, and I have the tattoo to prove it.
He sure does.
I'd been at that church 6 months, and it was not the kind of church that was used to having a pastor with a tattoo.
Reverend Pumphrey, now retired, and Strain, a Hollywood screenwriter whose credits include 1995's Jumanji, met almost 60 years ago.
We both started school together in the fall of 1967 at Phillips University in Enid, Oklahoma.
Among 1,500 students from all over the country, they found each other.
From week to week, our value as human beings rises or falls depending on the outcome of the game.
He sent me a text after the game last week and said, our value as human beings is skyrocketing. And
sure, they no longer live in the same state.
It was really a part of our boyhood, I think. That's fair to say.
Yeah.
But as seasons and rosters change, they say nothing can dull their passion for the Broncos or their delight at seeing each other again.
It's just more fun.
Couldn't be better.
Yeah.
Go Broncos?
Yeah, go Broncos.
That was Shalima Marahaj reporting. And now to an end zone celebration in Texas. A special game brought players and fans together on the field for a good cause. Madison Palumbo explains how every yard gained and every pass caught was a win for inclusion.
Hope Teeters has been attending UMHB's Touchdowns event since she was just 3 years old, when her dad carried her across the end zone.
But what do you run with? Do you run with the football?
Yeah.
And you run with all your friends?
Yes.
And that's what's fun, right?
Yes.
Now, Hope is running across the field. Are you excited?
Yeah.
I ugly cry sometimes. I mean, be honest with you, it's one of those. It's just cool to see her growth. To see her where she didn't walk till she was 3.
Every year, these fans get their moment to shine, running, walking, or dancing their way into the end zone for a touchdown of their own.
And I believe that God put her in our life for a reason, and it's not to shelter her, it's to put her out there and let her be a guiding light for Him. And so we got involved, and we were, the first one. I actually carried her over the touchdown, and I wasn't very smart. I started at the 50-yard line, so it took us a little longer.
He says what keeps him and his family coming back are the smiles on all the participants' faces.
That there's still a lot of love out there, and there's still a lot of care, and it's not just about Hope, it's all the other kids too that, again, we're a family.
The Teeters say the experience has opened their eyes to a larger community of families. They found comfort and connection in sharing their story and realized just how much love and support still exists.
Me and my wife, I mean, we're so blessed. He knew what we could handle. He knew how much special needs we could handle, and that's what he gave us. And it's like, it's just awesome. And to learn about the other kids, what they have, whether it be Asperger's, it'd be, Down syndrome, it'd be, whatever. It's just amazing to learn, and you can help each other.
That was Madison Palumbo reporting. Dozens of people gathered in Maine to send a message of unity. Now, the group says they are loving louder to push back against hate. Members share with Brianna Bush why it is important to focus on the good.
Let's take some moments to talk about the good stuff.
That message echoed by community leaders at the Love is Louder rally in Augusta.
We get to appreciate the beauty of nature. That is something that we should not take for granted.
The gathering, not about politics, but instead a place to unite and honor differences.
It's in response to the political climate of the world today. Not from any one party, but all around us. There's just too much bad stuff going on that people know about.
That's why the group in Maine, Love is Louder, organized the event to shed light on organizations doing good in central Maine communities. Organizations like the religious organization Temple Beth El.
It's important for religious leaders to be a part of the community and to really say that we believe in respect and tolerance and really treating all people the way we want to be treated.
This isn't the first time Erica Ash, the rabbi at Temple Beth El, spoke at the event at Mill Park.
A small group of people can decide we want to change something in our community, and we can actually do it.
In 2023, the group also held a Love is Louder rally after a string of hateful acts around Augusta that included anti-Semitic, homophobic, and racial slurs during that year.
And the community was distressed by that and wanted to come together to show that that's not who we are in central Maine.
But this time, organizers say this isn't about one particular incident, but rather a way to shed light on the good.
One of the goals of today is to really help people feel like, they're part of this community, that in Maine, love is louder than hate.
In Augusta, Brianna Bush.
A romance is in the air in Seattle. Christine Pei met with a book lover behind a business that has readers falling head over heels.
I'm McKenna, and I opened Seattle's first brick-and-mortar romance bookstore.
A book lover's story turned a new chapter.
I kind of was like, I was shocked when I found out Seattle didn't have one, and I really was like, man, that would be really cool if I could do it. And then I did.
It was love at first sight. Crowds lined up around the block just to get inside this tiny pop-up store in Lake City run by 30-something entrepreneur McKenna Martin.
I went into it like, I hope it works out, and it did. Very quickly. It was the first day that we were like, oh, now we need to find our permanent location.
And now Lovestruck is getting its own happily ever after, a forever home at a brick and mortar location in the Wedgwood neighborhood.
It's the first year my vision board actually happened, so I'm very excited.
The love isn't just being felt in Puget Sound. Printed romance novels are only getting more popular.
I definitely think it's the fact that romance has a happily ever after. When you think of romance, it's also like contemporary, fantasy, sci-fi can fit into it. Obviously there's queer books.
McKenna has them all, and more shelves now to fill her new space.
I feel like honestly right now this is the happily ever after that I didn't anticipate this year.
And that was Christine Pei reporting. Now, if you're of a certain age, you can probably remember a time before streaming, before YouTube and Netflix. Yeah, I'm talking about the video rental store my family used to go every weekend. Well, right now in Ohio, a man is creating an experience that's like pressing the rewind button on time.
Killer Video was born out of a love of physical media, especially the VHS era. This is a museum that is dedicated to preserving that era in time.
Oh my goodness, I saw that Candyman VHS. I hated that movie when I was a kid. Okay, Killer Video has a collection that spans from the 1970s through the early 2000s, covering decades of home video history.
One of the most rewarding things is watching people come in and you can literally see the nostalgia start coming through. We also wanted to create the experience for people who didn't grow up that way to actually walk through and have the true experience rather than just hearing about what it was.
Yeah, it is quite an experience. Now, the owner of the store says it's as much about building community as it is about preserving the tapes. All right, we have more for you straight ahead on Featured. A trip to the gym turned into a record-breaking achievement. Look at this lady. We'll show you how a 65-year-old woman is using her strength to lift America to the top. Plus, from legal briefs to beefy Franks, a lawyer's temporary break from work put him on a new path. We have a look at how he is finding joy outside of the courtroom. Also ahead, he used to write jokes, but now he delivers a sermon. We find out what happens when a punchline becomes a prayer. Welcome back. Now, when you think of world champion powerlifters, chances are you don't think of the person you're about to meet. But as Boyd Hubert finds out, she perfectly proves we can all find strength in different places in our lives.
As children, do we really know what's inside us? Not the bones and the veins and the brain, but the motor that drives us.
I grew up in Highland Park.
Even looking back,
There's 7 kids in my family.
Kathy Casper,
Yeah, we had a big family.
remembers
Nothing. Nothing.
nothing
Nothing.
inside her that foretold what was to come. Not as she married and raised 3 kids, not as she worked as a mental health nurse, pushing 60.
It was after my marriage ended and I was pretty lost. The boys had already left home, and when my daughter went off to college, I didn't know what I was going to do with myself.
Didn't know what she had inside until the day Kathy went inside these doors.
We're at Los Campeones Gym on Blaisdell.
Trainer Tyler Caldwell remembers the day 6 years ago when Kathy first laced up.
Oh, last hole on the belt. Okay, you better go eat.
Now weighing in at 120 pounds.
These are 45, so this bar will be loaded with 135 here. When she started, she couldn't even pick this weight up.
Nope. I couldn't even squat the bar.
If I would have said grab that weight, she would have looked at me and just laughed.
No one is laughing anymore.
Right, good. Kathy's 100 times stronger than she was 10 years ago. And not a lot of 65-year-olds can say that.
Nor can many 65-year-olds say
Stay tall.
Their relentless training has earned them multiple Minnesota powerlifting records.
Strongest deadlifter in the state for her age and weight.
Kathy joined a gym to lose a little weight,
Kathy's very inspiring.
only to become
It's unheard of.
a big deal.
Kind of cool.
When Kathy earned the right to represent her country just this month in South Africa.
There we go. Take your time.
At the Powerlifting World Championships, where she squatted more than 170 pounds.
It's remarkable. It really is.
Then, for good measure, another 237 pounds deadlifted by 65-year-old, 120-pound Kathy.
I think I unlocked something. Never in a million years did I think I would do this.
That's something Kathy found inside.
USA's Kathy Casper
Propelled her to the silver medal position at Worlds.
I think she's got more in the tank. Yeah, she's just getting warmed up. I honestly think she's going to be stronger at 70 than 65.
Whatever's in there, still hiding, rest assured, Kathy Casper's still
We love you!
finding.
It's never too late.
Boy, did we.
All right, let's head over to Washington, D.C. now, where childhood dreams are being fulfilled. When a lawyer's career was temporarily put on pause, he turned to a pack of hot dogs. And as Alexis Wainwright explains, he is now serving up justice on a bun.
Sometimes life serves up a curveball, but in this case, a hot dog.
People seem to be responding really well, and I'm just kind of overjoyed.
On average, Isaac Stein's new hot dog stand in Noma makes 40 to 50 sales, but he says things have picked up even more.
I really feel like the community has my back. It brings me so much joy to make people laugh and smile.
For Stein, getting furloughed led to a flavorful fresh start.
What would you like?
He's opened up Shyster's Dogs on the corner of 1st and M Street in Northeast. He opened up his hot dog stand as an art project, but after the lawyer was furloughed earlier this month, it's given him more reason and time for him to pursue his passion.
I really look forward to getting back to my day job. That'll be great. But in the interim, I will keep myself engaged with my project here.
The passion for this started at a young age.
The idea to do this goes back to childhood. Like I actually was manning a concession stand at basketball game in my elementary school gym.
Actually does make me want to support Shysters more. Not kind of like, oh, that poor man, but kind of more because this gave him an opportunity to expand his vision and to really do this as a passion project. And I think that passion comes through.
And word spread quickly.
I saw someone's tweet.
Leading to long lines for what's also titled as the only honest ripoff in DC on the menu.
I just want to hook you up, man.
He didn't comment too much on the wordplay and artistic parts of his new business, but he says he wants people to interpret it for themselves.
Everyone is entitled to their own experience, and all I can say is I'm having a lot of fun.
And his customers are relishing every moment.
That was Alexis Wainwright reporting. Over in New York, there is a longtime priest with a past that might make you laugh. Dave McKinley shares his connection with a well-known comedian known for her sharp wit and controversial humor.
In his 30-plus years as a priest, Father Bill Quinlivan has served in several parishes, sometimes delivering a dose of humor in his homilies.
It's funny because people will say to me sometimes when I attempt humor, what are you, a comedian? And I said, no, but I was a professional comedy writer.
Turns out, years ago, he would submit jokes to the late comedian Joan Rivers in exchange for the princely sum of a sawbuck for each one she used. And for a period of time in the late 1980s, he ended up selling roughly 24 of them. That part of the story is reflected in some faded papers he keeps with the jokes she used and others she didn't.
One of my jokes was, I saw Boy George's car drive in Beverly Hills. I knew it was his. There was mascara on the windshield wipers. My favorite country singer is Crystal Gale, but I'd never eat dinner at her house. Imagine finding a hair in your soup. 6 was the most I sold in one batch. That was a good year.
To Joan Rivers.
To Joan Rivers.
Did you ever sell jokes to anyone else?
Nope.
So why Rivers? Well, he was a fan.
Because I had been watching her for years, that was pretty easy to do, because I could hear her voice in my head, because I had heard her many times.
But to quote Rivers, can we talk here? Joan Rivers seems a little bawdy for the humor of a priest.
I like to tell people, my having written soul jokes to Joan Rivers is either my claim to fame or shame, depending on what you think of Joan Rivers.
Truth is, he hadn't become a priest yet, and besides, though Rivers could be raunchy,
I didn't write any of those jokes. Right. So even back then, I was pretty much a goody two-shoes, so I wrote kind of cleaner jokes for her.
He did end up meeting Rivers when she came to Shays, and he was in the seminary, and he got a congratulatory telegram from her when he graduated.
That was Dave McKinley reporting. Well, don't go too far. We have much more for you straight ahead. A teacher whose job didn't end with the school bell. We hear from her former student about an unforgettable carpool that shaped her life. Plus, a teen musician is stealing the show. We meet the teenager who is inspiring his community with his talent and determination. Welcome back. It's time to dive into what's trending on social media now. A Cleveland teacher's act of kindness is still being felt by one of her former students. Lindsay Buckingham shows how their story went viral and why thousands of strangers are now trying to help reunite them.
You never know who your words will reach.
It's important to me, but I didn't think it would be that important to anyone else.
And yet it did. Olivia's answer to an Instagram question from Upworthy touched millions. Her 4th grade teacher from what used to be Corlett Elementary in Cleveland.
My mom didn't have a job at the time, and so she found a friend who was willing to let us stay in his motel because there were 2 beds.
She took 3 buses to school every day until her teacher found out.
It was just a normal school day. I just remember it was like the end of the day and she pulled me aside and asked me if I wanted to ride home.
Olivia says her teacher drove her home that day in a Volkswagen Beetle with flowers on the dash. But that wouldn't be her only ride.
She had another appointment and she was like, I'm going that way again. And then she just started doing it every day.
In an Instagram post, Olivia wrote, "Those car rides were a few minutes out of the day where I could just be a kid and not be wondering about all these uncertainties in my life."
What might have been a small thing to her was really big for me. It's something I'm always going to remember.
In fact, it shapes Olivia's whole life. She became a teacher for 6 years. Now living in New York City, she's in grad school to become a school counselor.
I felt like school was a place where I was like being cared for. And I wanted to be able to do that for other students.
Just like her 4th grade teacher did 2 decades ago.
I want school to be a place where kids can feel safe and can learn and can do whatever they need to do without worrying about other things.
There was just one problem.
She would just pop into my head randomly. And then I'd usually like linger on it a few days because I just felt very frustrated. I'm like, what is her name? What is her name? How can I not remember this amazing lady's name?
Remember that post? It went viral. When Upworthy and Please Find shared it, thousands of strangers stepped up.
People putting in all this legwork for something that's like not about them is kind of crazy and just really, really sweet.
Olivia didn't just ask for help, she gave it. When strangers commented with their own teacher stories, she encouraged them. Find them too. The ripple effect of one teacher's kindness became a mission across the world.
If she watched this, what would you want to say to her?
I would just want to thank her. It definitely helped me on the long journey to getting to like where I am right now.
That was Lindsay Buckingham reporting. All right, we have an update now to a search effort after 20 years. Olivia will soon be reunited with her 4th grade teacher, Miss Tanner. Oh my goodness. Now, Upworthy made the announcement on its Instagram series, Please Find, with a post that thanked everyone who sent in tips to make the reunion possible. Oh my gosh, I hope we can see the reunion on camera. That is an awesome story. All right, that's a wrap on What's Trending. Here's a look at what you can expect up next. 2 brothers on a mission, how the duo is giving back while planting seeds for their future. Plus, he spent his career taking criminals off the streets, and now he is retired and taking stains out of clothes. How a former officer is serving his community in a new way. Hey there, thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you uplifting stories across the country. In Georgia, the music is soaring, fans are cheering, and one marching band member is proving you don't have to see the field to light it up. Caitlin Ross explains how he is changing the way everyone sees the game.
Friday Night Lights welcome the home team at Parkview High School, shining on as the marching band takes the field.
I just like working with all the other students to create something that we all love to do.
The music lighting up the stands before the big game.
I can't see where the lines are on the field. I was like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to navigate this.
Sophomore Gabe Aiken says his team helps guide the way.
Some of them say I march better than some of the people who can see.
Gabe is blind and a standout in the band.
Straight off, go!
He's one of our best marchers from just the technique alone standpoint.
Band director Carlos Franco says teaching someone to march without sight took the whole team and a whole lot of heart.
Marching band is a visual activity. We have to see what we're doing. I'm really excited to figure out how to teach that to someone who doesn't see the way we do.
Gabe is teaching them too.
He works hard, he wants to do it, and everybody around him wants to work hard with him and see him be successful.
That success starts at home.
If he did it, I could probably do it too.
Gabe's dad, Greg, was in the marching band at South Gwinnett High School.
When I was doing it, we couldn't find very many folks that had done it before.
Greg, who is blind like his son,
percussion's going,
says the support at Parkview is truly meaningful.
I think I was touched at how excited they were to figure it out.
and to see Gabe's star rising on the field.
Now my old high school buddies are like, oh man, he's doing better than you. And it's like, I know it. 8, 9, 10, 11.
Inclusion that shines far beyond this stadium.
Regardless of what kind of disability people have, they are way more capable than I think people give them credit for.
This is so cool to see him shining. I'm so happy that he's found something that he loves to do.
Part 2 is crazy. We're practically running back and forth.
Marching with his team, Gabe says the spotlight is for everyone who helps make the music.
It just feels great to know that like they don't see my blindness as a limitation, like they just see it as another part of me.
And all of him deserves to shine.
That was Caitlin Ross reporting. A Texas father who once struggled with addiction is now cutting his way to a better life. Stephen Pepper shows us how a set of clippers are helping him shape up more than just a hairline.
Just 2 months ago, Blake Ramey wasn't cutting or styling hair. He was focused on himself in rehab. For years, he'd been caught up in the streets of West Texas, dealing, using, and spiraling. But when his 30th birthday came around, he told his wife, it's time to change.
I was in the streets messing up, down the wrong path, you know what I mean? But God gave me a change of heart, bro, and I just, I'm grateful for it too, and I just feel like I'm 30 now. It's time for me to do the right thing for my kids and be a positive role model to them, you know what I'm saying?
During a tough 7-day detox at a rehab center in San Angelo, Ramey started thinking about his purpose. He'd been cutting hair for 15 years, and one night, an idea hit him, a ticket to a better life. And a month later, he introduced Fort Stockton to Fade Factory.
As of now, it's like I'm wiser enough to see, like this is what feeds me and my family, you know what I mean? And it's what's kept me sane, really. Even when I was going through my worst times, I'd cut ahead and I'd forget about a lot of it, you know what I mean? Just because I was locked in that haircut. And cutting hair is everything to me, bro, you know what I mean? It's always been my dream to open a barbershop.
To help tell his story, Blake teamed up with his childhood friend, Victor Vela, to run the shop's social media. Vela remembers the days of sitting in the barber chair while Ramey was visibly struggling with drugs. He says Ramey's transformation inspires him every day, and it hopes it can with others as well.
There's a lot of things that I face in my life, and seeing him take that choice every single day to show up to the shop and build something better for his kids, despite all the addiction, despite everything that people told him that he would be, the limitations that he even put on his own mind, it's beautiful to see him break those limitations.
For Ramey, coming into the shop every day is a blessing. He tells anyone walking a similar path to never give up on their dreams.
That's Stephen Pepper reporting. From cutting hair to cutting grass, 2 young brothers on a mission of kindness. Anayeli Ruiz shows us how they are using a lawnmower to help out their neighbors in Houston.
In Denver Harbor, the sound of lawnmowers means something more. 2 young brothers on a mission. 14-year-old Raymond and 13-year-old Julio Herrera. They're not just cutting grass, they're planting seeds of change. The boys signed up for the 50-Yard Challenge, a national program by the nonprofit Raising Men and Women Lawn Care Service. The goal? Help those who can't do it themselves 1 yard at a time.
It gives them something to do. It gives them a purpose. You know, they're helping people that, really can't afford it themselves.
Every evening after their dad gets off of work, they load up the family truck and get to work.
Elderly, single parents, disabled.
And today was Refugio Zapata, the third's turn.
Feels good, yeah. I'm real thankful.
Over the weekend, it was his neighbor's turn.
Les agradecimos mucho.
Pedro said it's a blessing. This 88-year-old man says he doesn't always feel good to cut his yard. The goal is for them to cut 50 yards in their neighborhood. And once they do that, the program will give them their own lawn equipment for free.
We're gonna start our own business and cut yards for people.
As the boys put in the work, their father is quietly planting lessons of his own.
I never had a father like that, so just to be there in these moments and watching them learn and take pride in what they do.
He wants them to grow up with values he had to learn the hard way.
Have responsibility and grow up to be good men that always want to give back.
These brothers are learning that kindness cuts through every challenge.
That was Anayela Ruiz reporting. A former Maryland police officer may have retired from the force, but he is still serving his community. Sean Martinelli shows us how he is restoring dignity to a community that often gets overlooked.
When most people wonder what they'll be wheeling around in retirement, it's not what you're about to see. But when his career closed, a bus door opened for Wade Milliard.
Yeah, I don't have anything, it's not fancy, but it gets the job done.
For decades, Wade served as an officer for the Frederick, Maryland Police Department.
And I was actually on a domestic disturbance at a campsite, and they were doing their laundry in a creek. So I asked them, like, if there was something mobile, would you use it? And that was my first yes.
That was the first step in Fresh Step Laundry. It's washing on wheels. Wade's idea to ensure all who are unhoused are not unclean.
One gentleman I was actually sent to trespass from a location. He's unhoused, and he's like, the only reason I don't go to job interviews is because I know that my clothes are dirty, and I just don't think they're going to hire me.
The operation is full service and free.
There you go.
People drop off clothes, Wade does the rest.
I'm hoping that it gives them a sense of normalcy, a sense of belonging again.
Now, instead of taking criminals off streets, Wade's removing lint from sheets. From issuing speeding tickets to matching socks.
And socks are my arch nemesis, just like at home.
The bus and machines were donated. Wade then gives his time to help people bounce back. People like Lisa Davis.
What I used to call him is Mr. Rub My Head, because his head's bald and I love to rub his head. He's good luck.
Lisa lives in a tent and used to go weeks without washing clothes.
Made a big difference. It made a big difference in the homeless community, I can tell you that now. And that one there has the biggest hurt in the whole world. He's an amazing man, and what he's doing is absolutely helping everyone here.
With clean clothes, Lisa now has a full-time job. She's saving for a place to live.
Yep.
And really that's the goal, is to give them that dignity and confidence that they deserve to have.
Wade could have tossed in the t-shirt on a life of helping others. Instead, he says retirement should not be an ending. It's just a chance to start a new cycle of service. In Frederick, Maryland, Sean Martinelli.
We love Sean Martinelli's stories on this show. They always hit us right in the heart, and he is joining us right now. Welcome to Featured.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to hear from you. So you cover Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. Tell me more about what stood out about Wade and why you felt it was important for you to share his story.
I think that so many of us have an idea of what retirement will look like, and it doesn't include doing other people's laundry. So the fact that he came up with this idea really piqued my interest, and I'm glad that we went out there and met him.
Awesome, awesome. Now, you showed how the mobile laundromat helped Lisa. She had a very emotional reaction. Did you hear from anyone else out there who used that service?
He told us a story of this woman. He did her laundry, and during those few hours, she organized the rest of her life, and she came back and she had this whole new sense of purpose. And I think that example really shows just how far a simple act of just doing somebody's laundry can go in helping to change their life.
For sure, and it makes them feel seen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, It makes them feel seen and valued. And, we all know that feeling. You have a laundry hamper full of dirty clothes. It's not a good feeling to have. And people who don't have a home sometimes go weeks without doing their laundry. So he doesn't want that to happen to anybody.
Yeah, great stuff. Now, of course, because you had to chop some of this down for it to air on TV, was there anything that you had to leave kind of on the table due to the time constraints that you want to share with our viewers?
Well, Wade he's planning to expand his service, so he's got another bus, and he's hoping to take it to area high schools so that if there are students who need to do their laundry, he'll be able to offer that service to them as well.
Oh, that is incredible. Oh my gosh, cannot wait to see how that works out. Well, this is just one of your many stories in your Heart of It series. So what do you hope folks take away from this one after they watch it?
I think that, so much of the news that we cover, it's the worst possible stories that happen on any given day. And I think that there are a lot of Wades out there. I think Wade is like who we really are as people, right? I think deep down we all want to do good, and he's a great example of that. So I hope people just don't lose sight of that there's more good than bad that happens every day. If we all take that mindset, I think that can help us get through all the other stuff that we're going through right now.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Sean.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yes, we love your stories here. All right, well, we have much more for you straight ahead on Featured. Phone support, no matter the time or day. How a simple call has given comfort to cancer survivors and patients. Welcome back. We are sharing how one organization is making a difference, one phone call at a time. Bria Smith tells us about a unique hotline, and she spoke to the founder about her efforts to support cancer survivors.
For support, press 1.
The sound of one call
Thank you for calling Carlos Calls.
can have the impact of a lifetime.
You're free to talk about anything that concerns you, any anxieties. We're here to listen and to help.
Regina Hall, a 3-time cancer survivor and a lifeline for women in the Charlotte area, began the support organization with her own experience.
When I was going through breast cancer, I had a friend named Carla. I was going through breast cancer and she was my rock during that time. She gave me resources. She stayed on the phone with me literally all night, talking me through anxieties, pains, issues, finances, everything that I was focusing on or thinking about. And she did it when I needed it, which was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when my brain wasn't shutting off. This is us at events.
Hall tells me Carla was a co-worker turned friend before succumbing to her battle with breast cancer. Carla's support being the legacy she leaves behind for Hall to continue to give.
On my 3rd diagnosis in 2021, she passed away a week after I got that diagnosis. And honestly, I was like, who's gonna be my Carla now? The one unique thing between she and I was we lived alone and we were going through breast cancer. We didn't have children. And so she was like, most people don't understand what it is to be single, live alone, and be fighting this disease.
What started with the idea of support for single survivors is now a service for all. It's why Hall's mission to support thrivers spans beyond a 10-digit number.
We have a 24/7 hotline that patients, supporters, thrivers, survivors can call just to say, hey, I need someone to talk to. I need someone to just listen. We don't offer medical advice. We are simply here to say you don't have to fight this disease alone.
That was Bria Smith reporting. Now, amid the rush and delays, travelers are getting friendly tales and some gentle paws in Virginia. Jason Walsh shows us how furry airport ambassadors are calming nerves and delivering instant joy.
We really felt that this was an opportunity to give our guests a great experience here at the airport. You can pet her. The dogs bring so much joy, comfort, and calm to the airport when people see them.
A little bit of stress release, a little bit of not having to think about how far the hike is to baggage claim.
We have been working for about a year to bring this program to the airport.
It's so cute!
We are working with the Alliance of Therapy Dogs, which is a certifying organization nationwide. And all of our handlers and their dogs have been volunteering for many years. Right now we have 3 volunteers, but our hope is to grow and have more so that we have dogs here more often.
This is Pixie. Pixie's a 3-year-old husky. This is Rocco. He's a 4-year-old black and tan coonhound.
What do you think of this dog?
They're so lovely. It really brightened my day. I love to see a happy wagging tail. I think people have a lot of time to kill in an airport, and who wouldn't want to be around a dog to do that?
I think it just eliminates some of the anxiety for maybe some travelers that are a little anxious to get on the airplanes, and also just entertainment if you're here waiting a long time for your flight to take off.
So for the travelers here through ORF, we're really hopeful that they'll find joy and calming while their dogs are here and just walk away with a positive experience from this airport. That's the main thing that we're hopeful for.
And that was Jason Walsh reporting. I love that one. All right, this next one is a 650-pound mystery. It's been solved at a Denver museum. A bison vanished more than 60 years ago without a trace, but as Rhea Jha tells us, she shares more details now about where it was all this time.
No, he's a large animal for sure.
650 pounds to be exact.
Actually, Taryn, can you grab the back? Okay, now that way.
A bison that takes 2 people to move should be easy to keep track of.
When I arrived, there was only 4 of them on site, and we didn't exactly know where the 5th one was.
Andy Dahl with the Denver Museum of Nature and Science says they've been looking for this one
sometime before 1965.
For more than 60 years.
The 5 of them were historically important to the museum. They're part of the founding collection. This was part of the remaining population of wild bison in Colorado. We have always been keeping our ears out looking for it, but eventually, finally, we got a tip and we followed that up.
Turns out they just needed to look west.
I really didn't know anything about the bison taxidermy mount and why it was in our gift shop.
On top of Lookout Mountain is where Rebecca James works. She's the collections manager at the Buffalo Bill Museum, keeping track of all the artifacts, including the ones in the gift shop.
Once I started putting some pieces together and was like, this might be from DMNS. Natalie Patton, she actually used to work at DMNS, and so she was like, oh, they do have a missing bison, and that is when we decided, oh, we might have something here.
After all these years, turns out the bison somehow wandered into their gift shop and never left.
Could have been moved up here for an exhibit, maybe to be used for decoration, not really sure.
Things weren't necessarily documented as clearly with all the paperwork like we do today back in those days, and probably in the 1940s or 50s.
Now the bison is back where it belongs, with a new chapter in its story.
That's part of its experience and its journey, so it's a really great story to get it back here. They're in amazing shape for being around 150 years old.
That was Rhea Jha reporting. Coming up next, a mother's secret mission and her son's priceless reaction. Oh, I love these stories. Stay with us as we share a cafeteria surprise that puts tears on the menu. Welcome back. Texas students were called for what they thought was just another school assembly, but as Tiffany Liu shows us, it included a very special moment no one in the room will ever forget.
And I see Sawyer. At Bryant Elementary School in Anna. Kindergarten through 3rd graders file into the cafeteria for a Monday afternoon assembly.
All righty, you guys ready?
Where one lucky kid is picked for a prize.
The student coming to spin the prize wheel is none other than, what time is it? 2:20, okay. Sawyer Strahan! Come on up here!
And though it's convincingly random, Sawyer's name wasn't selected by chance. Yay! Go, little buddy.
There's the spin. Where will it land?
Hiding in a side office, the best gift a 5-year-old could get.
I want you to look this way and see who's coming. Right around there.
Mommy!
Right here.
I miss you too, buddy. Deployed for 9 months to Qatar and Kuwait. Oh, Mommy, you found me. I did find you. Sergeant Kirsten Strahan with the Texas Army National Guard is home.
I gotta go home with Mommy right now.
And she got a second sweet hug from her niece.
I miss you too.
Sawyer knows his mom has been at work for what feels like a really long time. And at 5 years old, it can be hard to comprehend why.
Mommy.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to come back for me.
Of course, I always come back for you, love. Mommy always will come back for you.
One day, he'll understand. But all that matters today
I miss you.
I missed you too, buddy.
Mommy came home. In Anna, I'm Tiffany Liu.
Oh my goodness, that was adorable. Thank you so much for joining us on Featured. Until next time, make it a great one.